want to open it up just to make sure that everything is working fine. Do me a favor, if you can see my screen, it should say the Investing Income Challenge, make consistent income with one trade, and you should see a slide with a guy that, is fashionably needing to shave. Just let me know. Give me a shout out in the chat window. Let me know that you can see my screen and hear my voice and all of that great stuff. That way I know that everything is working. And one of the things you'll probably hear occasionally is my chair squeaking. My chair is squeaking for some reason. Well, it's not for some reason. I know why my chair is squeaking. I need a new chair. Actually, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. The squeaking bothers me, so I'm actually going to move and go to a chair. And if you hear my voice kind of trailing, it's because I'm moving away from the microphone. So I'm going to switch my chairs for you guys. That way there's no squeaking. So Ramesh and Paul and Rick and Dave and Jerome and Barry and Jerry and Julius, Reginald, Al. All right, cool. Gus. All right, good deal. Looks like a lot of people. I know I'm passing up a few names here and there. Just wanted to make sure that everything is working good. So good. Looks like everything is looking good and everything is working properly. So I like that. Like I said, we're going to start in about 3 minutes. I just want to make sure that all the technology works because there's nothing worse than starting a webinar and starting it right on time and then realizing that something's broke. So I always like to start it out early. In any case, hope you're excited to be here. The Investing Income Challenge is kind of fun. We do this once a year, and it is really, as you're going to see, I got a lot of information. I think you're going to love it. But this is such a good, easy way to trade options. And the best part about this is it's kind of like an entryway into trading options, really the primary way I've traded options. And I've been trading options now for, probably about 15 years. I've been trading for a long, I'll talk about my bio and stuff as we go through the formal presentation. And again, that'll start at noon. I just kind of introduce everything to make sure the classes are working. If you're just joining me and you didn't miss anything, I'm just rambling on a little bit. I tend to do that. It's kind of the joke around here at VectorVest. If you need an hour to fill a presentation, call Ron. He can talk about that. I'm good at it. But anyway, I'll talk more about myself and my background in trading and stuff when we get formally started here. But one of the things I will say, if you have questions during the webinar, let us have it. I've got some colleagues in the background. They'll help answer questions. We'll have a little Q&A at the end if you need to. And, for the next hour, we're going to talk about how to make consistent income with just one trade. And like I said, it's a nice pathway into creating a lot of income opportunities using options. And, there's so many ways to trade options, and there's so many things that you can learn and so many things that you can do. And, what I've come to learn over the past 15 years of my options career is it doesn't have to be that hard. It doesn't have to be tough. I make 90% of my income with 2 trades. It's really not that difficult. And like I said, this is such a good pathway to learn about options. I think you're going to love it. All right. Well, in any case, it is time to get started. It's 12 noon Eastern time. Welcome to our special announcement for the Investing Income Challenge. Now, again, we're doing this once a year, so we're excited to do this again. It's all based on the fact that you need a way to generate income. Generating income is critical to retiring with peace of mind. It gives you the ability to be independent and not rely on others because you'll have income for life. With an income source, you might even find that you can retire younger than you originally planned. So throughout this income challenge, we're going to work closely with you so by the end, you'll have placed your first income trade. And ideally, it's going to be the first of many. So here's what we're going to do today. First, we're going to discuss what is the challenge that's put in front of you. After that, I feel it's important to discuss the benefits of completing the challenge. In other words, why is this important to you? We're then going to spend a good amount of time looking at the trade you're going to learn to use to generate income. And we're going to finish up by looking at what you need to do to get started so you can start generating income in about 1 week from now. Sound good? All right. Let's talk about the challenge. What exactly is the challenge put in front of you? To put it simply, you're challenged to learn an income trade and then place the trade within a span of a week and a half. So very quick. This is not something where we're going to teach it for a month, 2 months, and then hopefully the next couple of years you're going to put a trade on. We're going to do this, and we're going to get you up and running fast. Now, all of the training is available for you immediately. The videos, all of them, will take you less than an hour to watch. So you can get through all the training in just about an hour. Now, in addition to the recorded training, we're going to hold live training sessions each day for 4 days. Again, you can learn the trade in about an hour from the pre-recorded training, but we want to be there with you live in case you have questions or need help. The first half of the live session is dedicated to training, and then the second half is for Q&A. Now remember, if you can't make the live sessions, it's not that big of a deal. Simply watch the pre-recorded training. Now, the following Monday, we're going to place a live trade with you. You can follow us along, click by click. So next week, we're going to teach you the trade. You can visit us live. You can do a combination of live and pre-recorded. You can do all pre-recorded, all live. It's completely up to you. Then on Monday, September 30th, we are going to place our first live trade together. So again, this is something we want you to be up and running with fast. Now, the income challenge involves learning an option trade. So I want to do a quick survey here. And let's see here. Survey. Let's see. I forgot how to do a survey. There we go, polls. All right. Perfect. It took me a second to open the poll there. So on the screen, you're going to see a survey. Now click on the choice that matches your experience, your option experience. So rate your options experience. 1 being brand new to options, 2 you're a beginner, 3 you're intermediate, you've done covered calls, credit spreads, 4 you've done several multi-leg trades, you like butterflies and things like that. Now, several years ago, my teammate Brian taught his then 14-year-old daughter how to do this trade, and she was able to follow the click-by-click directions he gave her. I'm so confident that if she can do it, you can do it as well. So I'll leave that survey up for just a couple more seconds. Looks like we got quite a few of you that had voted. So we'll leave it up for a couple more seconds. I'll leave it up for another 10 seconds. This is interesting. All right, so we'll go ahead and we'll close that, and then we'll share those results. So right now, this is kind of what I see. It's kind of interesting. And the reason I say it's kind of interesting is because it's kind of like a bell curve. It's kind of like a standard deviation. Most of you are right in that middle of beginner to intermediate. So you're right away ready to do this. Into the 6 figures, it's not a problem. Now, benefit number 3 is that you can make some serious money very quickly. For example, if you did start with a $5,000 account, did you realize that a 2.5% gain per month compounded over 15 years puts you at over $400,000? Now, if you start with $25,000, you'd be near $500,000 after 10 years. You're looking at some serious money. Now, the 4th benefit is that the trade you're going to learn is relatively consistent. We've seen 60% winning trades. So many people struggle for consistency and they lose more times than they win. Now, many times because they're trying to hit the big winner. The income challenge teaches you a system where you're consistently making gains, small wins, small losses with a high success rate. Now, I want you to study this. This is this is like a 6-year history of the trade up to 2023. Okay? Now, you're going to notice you're going to have runs where the market's doing very, very well. You're going to have periods of drawdown. You're going to have good runs. You're going to have periods of drawdown. That's like any trading strategy. So I don't want you to think, hey, you're going to make 2.5% every month. You're going to average 2.5% per month, extrapolated out. You may have months where you make 10%. You're going to have months where you lose 5 or 6%. But this is going to extrapolate out to the long haul. Okay? There's no such thing as a trade that always makes money. There's no such thing as a system that has no drawdown. You're going to see drawdown. You're going to see good runs where you might make 7, 8, 9 winners in a row. You may see some downsides where you see 3 or 4 losers in a row. It can happen, okay? But we're playing probability and we're controlling our risk. Over the long haul, we will win. Now, you're going to have those streaks where you exceed 60% winning trades. One of our students, Larry, learned the SPX paycheck system last year. We checked in on him a few months ago to see how things were going. He said trading has continued to go very well. Since the beginning, his stats were 22 wins and 2 losses. Now, again, this is not me saying this. This is somebody that's done it before and that's doing it now, okay? Since the beginning, his stats are 22 wins and 2 losses, average of 4.8 contracts per trade, $500 per trade gain, 6.5 days per trade, total gain of $10,950, started with a modest $30,000 account. So Larry started off the year with 91% winning trades. That's crazy. Plus, he's already started to make some serious money. And again, this is not my results. This is the results of people implementing this. That's what I think is more important. Now, the 5th and 6th benefits I put together, first, is that it takes minimal time to do the trade each week. I'm not exaggerating when I say you can spend a total of 15 minutes per week on this income trade. Second, it takes minimal effort to do it. Like I said, Brian taught this to his 14-year-old daughter to do it. There's simple rules that require no guesswork. You don't need to be an expert trader to do this. Okay? As long as you can follow instructions, not overthink things, you can do this trade rather quickly. Finally, benefit number 7 is that you can get started right away. You're going to be able to place your first trade in 1 week. Now, very quickly in the chat, let me know if any of these benefits would be good for you. Just let me know. Any of those benefits good for you? If so, how many of those benefits are good for you? All right, I see all of them. Yeah, I would say all of them. Getting started right away. Absolutely. All of them, Paul? Yeah. Reggie, all, Sal, Rick, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I love it. Okay? So, all of them. I'm seeing most of you saying that all of them. Okay? So, yeah, all of them. Now, let's talk about the trade itself. Today, we're going to spend a good amount of time teaching you how this trade works. We want you to feel totally comfortable with the trade before you decide to join us in the challenge. Now, before I do that, I want to introduce myself again. My name is Ron Wheeler. I've been trading now for 27 years. And for the last several years, I've been the head of the Ultimate Retirement Solution Coaching Group here at VectorVest. Now, several years, it's been like 9 years now, we put together a course called the Options Paycheck course. And that taught an option trade called a credit spread. Now, the goal of the course was to teach investors a way to generate consistent income. It's been very popular, wildly popular, in fact. One of the coolest things that we did was we took the technique taught in the paycheck class and we simplified it even more. That way, you could get the benefits of the income system and then get those results very, very quickly. So today, I want to teach you the system that works. Okay, and I want to teach you how it works. Now, what I did was I took the paycheck system and I broke it down into a super simple system. I want you to think of it like 5 ones. It uses 1 ticker symbol, 1 trade type, 1 entry rule, 1 profit rule, 1 stop criteria. This allowed us to take anyone, regardless of experience, and show them how to successfully place an income trade. And I should say this, there's no second guessing here. Just follow the rules. Don't think edge case scenarios. Don't think of, third standard deviation. What if this happens? It's happened once in 50 years. You don't think that way. You follow the rules down the line. Okay? Now, we call it the SPX paycheck. So let's look at how this works. Now, before I get into it, let me say this. It's okay if you don't understand all this right now. There might be some things you don't understand, and that's okay. Some of you who trade options, and like I said, most of you do have experience with options. Those of you that were intermediate and advanced, you're probably going to have a really good idea of this. For, new or beginner, you may see some things now that you've not seen before, okay? But don't worry about it. You don't need to understand it right now to be successful. So, the stock market has trends. When the market goes up, most stocks go up. When the market goes down, most stocks go down. We believe, and our results have shown, that you should not fight the trend. We call that philosophy riding the wave. We go with the flow of the market. Why? Because history has shown that the market continues in the direction of the trend for some time, and then a new trend forms. Now, let's take a look at probability. I mentioned before that this trading system relies on probability and risk control. So let's take a look at how probability works. I want you to take a look here. During a market uptrend, most stocks tend to go higher anyway, so you'll be placing bullish trades. Now, how can you increase the probability of success? That white dot represents the price of a stock, or in this case, let's say it's the SPX. Probability says that a stock has a 50% chance of going up and a 50% chance of going down from the current price. Now, if that's the case, the more room you give it to the downside, you are increasing the area the stock is likely to be in the future. Now, you can see here that because the stock is more likely, remember, this is where the stock is right here, or the market. If you look, we have more likely to be in that green area, because if the stock goes sideways, we're still in the green area. Even if the market or the stock comes down, we're still in that green area. This is no longer a 50-50 scenario. So let's put some numbers to this. If I choose a price a little below the current price of the market or the stock, instead of a 50-50 scenario, you now have set up an area where you know that the market has a 65% likelihood of being in and a 35% likelihood of not being in there. Now, you can lower the percentages even more and thus change the percentages. Okay? For example, over to the right, you can set up a scenario where you know a stock has an 80% likelihood of being in an area, and then you know that it only has a 20% likelihood of being in. The more room you give a stock or the market, the more likely it is to stay above your line. Now, during a downtrend, the thinking is exactly the same. It's just flipped around. You're going to be bearish on the stock, or the market in this case, because most stocks and the market move lower during market trends, right? Now, since stocks and markets have a 50-50 probability of going higher or lower, how can you increase your probability? You can pick a price above the market or the stock's price. That way you know the stock is less likely to be in that red area up here. So again, think about that. Here's where the stock price is or the market price is. We're choosing a price above it. That way, as long as we're in this green area, we can still make money. Stock and market can go sideways, we make money. If it goes down, we make money. If it goes up, we can even still make some money. Now, you can set up the same probabilities as before. Probability changes depending on how much room you give the stock to move. Now, the SPX paycheck has two trades. One starts with about a 65% base probability, and the other starts with about an 80% base probability. Now, during the income challenge, you're going to learn the trade with a 65% probability. Now, you might be thinking, why not the 80%? Well, then I'd have a greater chance of winning, right? Well, that's true, but there's a lot more involved in managing that trade. The 65% trade is simple to set up and simple to manage. It performs amazingly over time. In fact, over the last few years, that 65% probability trade has actually outperformed the 80% trade. Go figure. Now, we just flip things over when we're bearish. That's all we have to do. We flip those probabilities around. Now let's talk about the trade setup. Now remember, as I said before, it's okay if you don't understand all this right now, because you don't need to understand it right this second. When markets are bullish, we use options called puts. Now what we're going to do is we are going to sell a put and then buy a put at the same time. Now that put that you buy is called the insurance leg, because it protects you. It limits the amount you can lose, and that's what makes this a very low risk trade. Okay? If you just sell an option naked, it's a very high risk, expensive trade to make. When we buy the insurance on the trade, it becomes limited risk and low risk. Now, both of these are going to be done on the same order. Okay? In one order, we're going to sell a put and we're going to buy a put. That newly created spread will have a price, and it trades just like a stock does. This is called the bull put credit spread. Okay? We're going to be doing what's called the bull put credit spread when the stock or the market is bullish. Now, when the market is bearish, we're going to use a thing called calls. There's only two types of options, puts and calls. That's it. In the bearish trade, we are going to sell a call and then we're going to buy a call at the same time. And remember, that call that you're buying, we refer to as your insurance because it protects you. Now, as I said before, both of these are going to be on the same order. The newly created spread has a price and trades just like a stock does. We can place this trade on a Monday, we can exit it on Tuesday. Heck, we can place it on a Tuesday and exit on a Tuesday. It goes up and down in price exactly like a stock does. It trades just like a stock essentially. This is called the bear call credit spread. And this is it. 2 trades. That's all you're going to do. You're going to be placing 2 trades. That's it. Okay? So again, in the bullish scenario, we're going to sell a put below the current price of the S&P 500, and we're going to buy a put even further down as our insurance leg. In the bearish trade, we're going to sell a call above the current price of the market, and then we're going to buy a call. If I said buy a call, I meant sell a call. We're going to sell a call right above the market, and then we're going to buy a call even further up. Bull put on the left, bear call on the right. Okay? Now, I'm sure you have questions, and this is where the education comes in. Well, Ron, how do I know where to sell the put? How do I know where to sell the call? Where do I buy the call for insurance? Where do I buy the put for insurance? This comes down to, can you follow a simple rule set? It's all laid out for you. There's no ambiguity here. We'll give you clear and concise, here's where you sell it, here's where you put your insurance. Done. Now, let's talk a little bit about opening the trade and closing the trade. So, when you have a winning trade, here's what's going to happen. These trades are called credit spreads. Now, in a credit spread, when you enter the trade, you get paid. When you close the trade, you have to give money back to your broker. Now, the goal is when you enter the trade to collect money. When you close the trade, to give less money back than you collected. If that happens, you have a profit. So let's put some numbers behind this. Let's say when you open the trade, you get paid $2,500. Now, I want you to understand something. When I say you get paid $2,500, a lot of people misconceive this. They're thinking like, well, Ron, I got paid $2,500. I made $2,500, right? No, it doesn't work that way. When you sell options, when you're an option seller, you're selling a contract. You're selling an obligation to someone, okay? You have an open trade. So remember I told you when we enter the trade, the prices can go up and down. You enter the trade, you get paid $2,500. The only way you can get rid of the trade is you have to close it. Now the goal is to close that trade and pay less than you received. So when we open the trade, we get paid $2,500. And if it's a winning trade, when we close it, we're going to pay the broker back $1,250. We're going to keep the difference, which in this case is $1,250. Okay? You know, it's not like when you sell your car on Facebook Marketplace or your dresser or something. You put it out on the porch, the person comes and picks it up, they leave you a stack of money. You sold it, it's over, it's done. When you sell an option is like, the best way to describe it, it's like an insurance contract, right? When I pay my car insurance, I write my insurance company a check and they protect my property. When that insurance contract expires, they keep the premium. Now, during the policy dates, if I wreck my car, they have the obligation to fix my cars, right? Options are kind of similar. They come with an obligation. Okay, don't worry about the obligation, because when the S&P trades, you're not going to have to worry about any obligations. You're not going to have that ever. You never have it. It's impossible. Okay? Because options like we trade cannot be assigned early, and there's never going to be an obligation because we'll be out of it before the option expires anyway. We'll talk about all that. Now, what happens when you lose money? Here's what happens. You enter the trade, you get paid. Unfortunately, the market moves the wrong way. And this can happen. Remember, historically, we're talking about a 60% trade here. So if I take 10 trades, I'm going to have 6 winners and 4 losers. What's going to happen is when I close the trade, I'm going to have to pay the broker back more money than they paid me. That's going to result in a loss. So to put some numbers behind this, when we enter the trade, we get paid $2,500. Unfortunately, the market moved the wrong way. We have to now pay $3,750 to close the trade. Well, that $3,750, $2,500 of it is what we were paid when we started the trade. That goes back to the broker. Then I have to dig in my pocket for a $1,250 loss. So I pay the broker back $3,750. I lose a net of $1,250. The $2,500 goes back to them, and then I have to dig in my pocket for a little bit more. That's how a losing trade works. Now, let's kind of dive a little bit deeper here. When you sell to open, or and don't even worry about sell to open, that kind of stuff. Think about it easy. When you enter a trade, when we enter a trade, we get paid. Where does that payment come from? Here's how it works. In a bullish trade, when we sell a put, we're going to get paid. Okay? When you sell something, you get paid. The insurance contract is going to cost you money. We have to buy that. But because the option we're selling is more expensive than the option we buy, the net result is that we get paid to place the trade. Now, these are placed on the same order. The newly created spreads price is the net of the two individual legs of the spread. So let me kind of give you some numbers here. Let's say when we sell the put, we get paid $3,500. When we buy the put, we have to take 1,000 of that and put it towards our insurance leg. All right? That means when we enter this trade, we're going to get paid $2,500. Now, how does the trade make money? In this case, the S&P 500 moves higher, and that's what we want in a bullish trade. Here's what happens to your options. When you sell a put and the market or the stock goes up, the price of the put that you sold decreases. When we sold it for $3,500. Now that the price of the market has moved away from that put, the price of that put is declining. Have you ever, for those of you that have traded options, have you ever bought a put because you thought the stock was going to go down and then stock goes up? What happens? You lose money. Well, guess what? Now we're selling a put. When you sell a put and the stock goes up or the market goes up, that put that you sold makes money. We sold it for $3,500. Now it's only trading for $1,750. We can go out there and we can exit that trade at the new price. It's no different than when you're trading a stock, right? You buy a stock for $100. Now it's trading at $105. Oh, cool. Now I can go out there and sell my stock for $105. I enter the trade. It's trading at $3,500. Now it's trading at $1,750. I can go out there and exit my trade at the new price. Now, that's good. The bad part is the insurance leg is also going to lose money. Starts out at $1,000. Now it's only worth $500. So on the option you sell, when the price of the option falls, you make money. On the option you buy, when the option falls in price, you lose. But that's okay. Remember, we sold the option for more money. So in this case, remember, when we entered the trade, we got paid $2,500. When we exited the trade, we have a net of $1,250. $1,750 on the price, $500 on the put, it's $1,250. Okay, $1,750 minus $500, it's a net of $1,250. you collected $2,500 when you entered the trade, and then you paid $1,250 when you exited. You keep the $1,250. Now, I know some of you guys are going to be greedy, and gals, and you're going to say, well, Ron, if I lose money on that option that I bought, why would I even do that? Well, again, it protects you. It's a hedge in case the market goes against you. It provides you with a hedge. The second thing is, it protects you from market volatility. Third thing is, it puts this into a trade that even a beginner can do. You're not selling naked options on the SPX index, which is very expensive. That insurance leg keeps the trade cost to an insanely low price. So the insurance leg is very, very important. I don't want you to look at it and say, well, Ron, if I just cut the insurance leg out, it's going to be even better for me. Not necessarily. Okay? Now, a bearish trade works exactly the same way. If we think the market's going to go down, we sell the call, remember? When we sell the call, we're going to receive more money for the call than it costs you to buy the insurance. In other words, again, you're going to receive money to place this trade. Now, because they're entered on the same order, right, you're going to get paid the net result of that transaction. You're selling an expensive call. You're buying a lower price call for insurance. So again, let's put some numbers behind this. When we sell the call, we get paid $5,000. When we buy our insurance, we have to pay $2,000. The net of that transaction is $3,000. That's what we get paid when we enter the trade. Now again, remember, you have a trade on. You don't just get paid now the trade's done and you walk away. Now you have to wait for the market to do something because eventually I have to exit the trade, right? It's like when you buy a stock. You don't just keep the stock forever. Eventually you're going to either hit your profits or hit your stop. This is the same way, okay? You enter the trade, you get paid. Now you have a position on. If the market goes down in this case, you're going to exit the trade for a less amount of money and make money. If the stock goes the wrong direction of the market, you're going to lose money. So now, let's say the S&P 500 has moved lower, okay? Remember, as the market moves in your direction, the prices of those options are going to decline. That option that we sold for $5,000 is now only worth $2,500. On a bad note, the option we bought for $2,000 is now only worth $1,000. But we can now exit the trades at those new prices. That means when I enter the trade, I got paid $3,000. When I exit to close the trade, I pay the broker $1,500. That means I keep the $1,500. That's a profitable trade. So if you think about this, it's just the opposite of buying something, right? When you buy something, you put the money out first, and then when you exit the trade, you get the money. In a credit spread, when you enter the trade, you get the money up front. When you exit the trade, you pay that money back, hopefully less. Okay? That's the idea of how it works. Oops, hit the wrong button there. That's the idea of how it works. So what we looked at there is the first part of what you're going to learn during the income challenge. Now, as you can see, there are a lot more steps for us to cover, such as how you're going to control your risk, what to trade, when to trade, how to set up the trade, how to manage the trade. Of course, we're going to go over how to enter the trade. Okay? Now, let's talk about how to get started. We put together the Investing Income Challenge to help you place your first of many income trades. And again, here's how we're going to do it. As soon as you register, you're going to receive immediate access to a series of training videos which will walk you through the trade. Then we're going to hold live training sessions next week, each day for 4 days. The live sessions will take no more than an hour each. As we talked about earlier, the first half is dedicated to the training, the second half is for Q&A. The following Monday, September 30th, I can't believe we are that close to the end of September already, we're going to place our first live trade. And you can follow along with us click by click as I do it. Okay? Now, as an extra bonus, after you place your first trade, we're going to continue to work with you during the month of October. Each Monday, we'll walk you through setting up and placing an income trade during the live webinar. So you're going to have more practice with us as we go through the month of October. And then also on Friday, we're going to get together at the end of the week just to do a check-in. answer your questions, talk about the trade, just to make sure you're still on track. Just another way for us to meet and check in on the trade, answer questions, etc., etc. We just want to make sure you're ready to do this trade. Okay? Now, here's the opportunity in front of you today. If you're ready for the challenge, it's only $295. And I'm going to take you by the hand and I'm going to help you place that first income trade. So to do this with me, go to www.vectorvest.com/join-challenge right now. Brian will put that link in the chat box for you to click on it. Together, we are going to do this. Now, I realize that, any kind of money that you put out is a risk, right? Well, I got a guarantee for you. We believe so much that you will love the income system and you'll easily complete the challenge. We offer a 100% money back guarantee. You can go through the entire challenge, and if you're not satisfied, you get your money back. It's completely no risk. You just got to show you've done the work and gave it your best effort. We only want people to join the challenge if they're serious and excited to get started. We hope you're one of them. Now, we've worked with so many different people over the years who've come to us in a variety of experiences in their past. Here's just a handful. When Jim came to us, he was inconsistent, satisfied with the results, but he learned the system and his first 21 trades were winners. Mike, when he came to us, he had said he lost often and got to the point where he almost gave up, but then he learned the system and he made 12 grand his first 4 months. Mark had no experience at all with the income trade, and we taught him. But after only an hour, he was able to place his first income trade by himself the next day in 10 minutes. Brian even showed his daughter how to place an income trade, and she never invested before in her life. She was able to take notes from her spiral-bound notebook and place the trades by herself using Brian's account. Now, during the income challenge, Gordon successfully completed the challenge of learning this trade. He said, just want to thank Ron for teaching me a method to create monthly income. I'm new to options investing and I wish I would have taken the course sooner, but I let the fear of options stop me. I finished the June course and have managed to make 3% on my trades for the month of July. Beautiful. Okay? We get posts like this all the time. Dan said he just got a notification from Thinkorswim that his trade exited with profits. He says another win following Ron's teaching. Both Terry and Knighton also closed their trades at profits. Nav posted that he had started a paper trading and had 75% winning trades with an average profit of $575. Now, a couple of important notes here. We start off with a baseline probability of 65%. Okay? Now, that baseline statistical probability of 65% has worked out to a real statistics of 60%. But you're going to have runs. You're going to have runs where you might make 6 or 7 or 8 winning trades in a row. You're going to have times when you lose 3 or 4 trades in a row. Now, the one thing I will tell you is I can't tell you where that's going to happen. We might do this trade in October and have 2 wins, 2 losses. We might have 3 wins and 1 loss. We might have 4 wins and no loss. We might have 1 win and 3 losses. They're going to come. But the important point here is you have to keep it going. You can't get distracted or discouraged by short-term results. Okay? We're going to teach you how to use market direction. We're going to teach you how to increase that probability. Okay? Farney said he had 18 out of 20 successful trades. 90% winning rate. Again, he's trading and he's got one of those nice runs going. Gerald emailed, said placed a 35 delta trade on 5/9/24, closed for profits the next day and paid for the course with that one trade. Made several before that. Just wanted to share and say thank you. That's a little bit obviously more recent. Here I posted that my trade closed and others joined in. Notice Bruce said he made $4,600 in the trade. Bruce is trading a little bit higher contract size. You can scale this trade up. You can scale it down depending on the size of your account. Now, all these people we looked at today, they're not professionals. They're not financial advisors, they're not money managers. They're just ordinary people like you and me. Some had no experience at all. So like I said, this is not a sales pitch. This is just reality. If you want income, this is a trade to learn. It's as simple as that. Okay? So let me ask you, are you up for the challenge? Let me know in the chat. If you're up for the challenge, do me a favor. Give me a big yes in the chat if you're up for the challenge. All right, I see right away. Yes, yes, yes. I'll call out a few names as I see them. Mike, yes. All right, Gerald, yes. Dave, yes. Paul, Faisal, Peter, Larry. All right, I'm just kind of reading some of the names off there. So, think about what we've talked about. Think about this. The main goal is to make consistent, meaningful income. Is it achievable? The answer is definitely yes. You've seen us do that in real trading. Our test results show as well, our client testimonials over the last several years since we started teaching this. What is the likelihood that you're going to achieve your goal? The answer to that is it's high. We've seen many people succeed who have had no prior experience. What about the effort? Well, that's pretty low. This is not a lot of work involved to learn and place this trade. All you need is a broker software. You don't need anything else. What about the sacrifice? That too is low. At first, you're dedicating about an hour a day for a week, and then you're going to do that to gain an income system to use the rest of your life. What about the risk? Well, the risk is low. First, the investment's only $295. Plus, you have that additional money back guarantee, right? The trade you learn is set up in a way that also the losing trades have minimal risk. Now, what about the time commitment? That too is low. There's going to be some time dedicated to learn the system, but even that is only about 1 hour per day for a week. After that, you're looking at about 15 minutes per week. And realistically, once you get the hang of this and once you build that memory and that muscle discipline of doing these trades, you can do this in as little as 5 minutes a week. Okay? I can pull off this trade, put the orders in probably 60 seconds. It's not that hard. All you got to do is take 60 seconds out of your day. You'll get that point once you learn the muscle memory. So again, at this point, you have a choice, right? Choice number one is you can do absolutely nothing and stay where you are. Choice number two is you can learn how to generate income now. Of course, listen, you can try to do it alone. If you're willing to work hard and spend hours in front of your computer and you're willing to learn by trial and error, you might be able to pull it off. Or you can let us guide you during the challenge. Let us show you how to do it. We'll walk you through each part of the system. Circle October 2nd on your calendar. Will you watch that day come and go like so many people? And actually, I lied. Circle September 30th on your calendar. Okay? It's actually September 30th is the first trade. Will you watch that day and go by so many people? Or are you going to be among those who remember the day as they place their first income trade? Now ask yourself, what will it cost you not to do this? Earlier, we looked at the serious money that can be made. Would you exchange that $295 one time right now to get that number each year? So if the answer is yes, go to VectorVest.com/join-challenge, get registered today. Okay? That $295 special is only available until Thursday at 6. Then the price increases to $495, which is still a good deal. Registration for the challenge is only open until Monday, so get signed up now. Remember, we're going to start very, very soon. Okay? By the way, if you're an alumni of the Options Paycheck course, you can register to the challenge for only $95. So if you've taken the Options Paycheck before, we'll send you a link via email or in the private chat. So do me a favor. If you know this challenge is right for you and you're joining me in the challenge, do me a favor. Just type 2 words in the chat. I'm in. Because Brian and I would love to welcome you to the class by name. All right. Brian, if you want to join us, we can take any questions that have popped up there, and we can go from there if you'd like.
All right, fantastic. Can you hear me all right, Ron?
Yep, loud and clear. Just let me make sure that YouTube is working. Go ahead and talk again.
Hey, this is Brian. I got some. All right,
Yep.
Perfect.
Cool.
All right, Mr. Wheeler, I'm just going to give everybody some quick reminders of the things that you said. So the VectorVest.com/join-challenge is the link to register. And the $295 price is a webinar special, so it's lower than elite pricing. It's lower than all that stuff. So and that price is a webinar special. The price will increase to $495. So take advantage of the $295, and then registration will close on Monday. All right, so it's only a few days that you have to get in to this course. You can see when you click on that link, it'll bring you to the page that Ron is showing you there. And the $295 is good for a short amount of time. And the 5 days and 4 hours that you see there on Ron's screen, that is counting down to the day registration closes, which is going to be Monday afternoon. So take advantage of it while you can. We're looking forward to it. And like Ron says, a really simple trade to learn. I know Ron gave you some nitty gritty details in there, trying to let you understand that, hey, you just can buy and sell this thing just like a stock. But we will hold your hand through this whole process. So Ron, I did have some questions coming in. By the way, we did have a few people who have taken the Options Paycheck before who wanted to get in on this as just like a refresher. And I'm glad you mentioned that they could get in at a discount of just $95. If you apply for that, if you feel that you've taken the paycheck before and you want to do this for 95 bucks, just put in the chat that that is you, and then John will help you out with a special link just for you. All right, Ron, well, I guess one of the big things that we'd like to cover is that since this is an option trade, there's a gentleman earlier that said, does he need anything special with his broker, like any kind of special level, or does he have to do anything or make sure of anything before he gets started?
Yes, double check that you can actually do a bull put vertical spread or a bear call spread. Most brokers, you're going to need like either level 2 or level 3. So make sure you can do that, number one. Most of you can. It's something easy. If you have trouble, just say, hey, you took a training course on it, or you're taking a training course on it to learn how to do it, and you need access. I know a lot of people ask, can you do this in an IRA? The answer is yes, you can do a limited margin IRA. I have one that I do these trades, and I know Brian does. John that works with us does. So yes, these can be done in an IRA as long as your broker allows it. Just call the broker and say, hey, I'm doing bull put vertical spreads and bear call vertical spreads. Give me the access I need to do those, and you should be good to go.
All right, I'm looking over at the chat here in GoToWebinar, and there is a huge interest from our Paycheck alumni. And I'm just going to tell you all right now, you're overwhelming John. John's not going to be able to get back to each one of you with the link. So let me say this. There's a phone number on the screen. That's one way you could do it. However, if you have taken the options paycheck before, we would have sent you an email with your special link in it. We're actually going to send you several emails. We would have sent you one a couple of days ago. So please check your inbox or your spam or your junk, because we would have sent you an email with a special link to get it for the $95. Please check that, because I'm looking at the chat. I don't think there's any way John is going to be able to reply to all of our Paycheck alumni who just typed in. He's only one man with 10 fingers. He won't be able to do it that quickly. I love to see all that interest, Ron. I don't know about you, but that's great to see so many people are interested in this income trade.
Definitely.
All right. So again, if you're a Paycheck alumni, you want the $95 rate, you can either check your email or write the phone number down that you see there on the screen, because you could get that $95 all the way through Monday. Okay, so there's no rush. You don't have to do it right now. You can, but there might be a hold on the phone lines. But just give that phone number a call, and we can get you in. All right, Mr. Wheeler, we had somebody in the chat say, can this be done on other indexes, or is it just the S&P?
I'll just answer it quick and simple. It's just the S&P. The S&P has been vetted, tested. Have I done this on other indexes? The answer is yes, I have. But what I can't do is I cannot give you the confidence in the back testing, because the NASDAQ or the Russell or the Dow, they may be more volatile. They may be a little bit more sensitive. I know that it works on the S&P. So I just say, you know what? It's the S&P only. Keep it simple.
All right. And I know you covered this during the webinar, but placing this trade, is this a huge time commitment for somebody to do?
No, I mean, we say 15 minutes a week. Once you get the hang of it, once you build the muscle memory, I can personally place this trade in 60 seconds. It's not that hard. I can put the order in, and again, depending on your broker, I can put a stop loss in for it. I can do this in less than 60 seconds. So it's not that difficult. Your first trade might take you a few minutes to get it up and running and go through the process of doing it. But again, the nice thing about this is it's mechanical. So you're not going to have to do a lot of interpretations. It's really everything that we do is a yes, no. Is the market doing this? Yes. This is the trade you do. This is the expiration. This is the strike price. This is the insurance. It's just kind of one straight, all the way across the board, yes, no, true, false kind of things. So there's no interpretation, the market's doing this, and I might have to look at this, and, it's not like that. We keep it very crisp, very clean, very mechanical. So you'll build the muscle memory in no time.
And a couple of quick notes on that is the cool thing about this challenge is we're basically going to hold your hand through it. So Ron will teach you the trade, show you what's going on, and then on that Monday, he'll walk you through it live with a broker. Place the trade live, and you could follow along. Or you could say, you know what, I'm just going to watch this week. I'll do mine next week, because he'll be with you for 4 weeks placing the live trade. And Ron, there was a gentleman in the chat who had asked, does it have to be done at 10 a.m. or can it be done at 11 or during his lunch break? Because he said he's still working. Does it have to be 10 a.m.?
Nope, anytime you want. You know, in my career, I've done these trades on Thursdays and Fridays and Wednesdays and Mondays at 10 and Mondays at 11. You can do it really anytime you want. You know, I tell you this, you know, when you trade on a Monday versus a Wednesday, are you going to see some statistical differences like, oh man, if I traded on Monday this week, I would have won, but now I traded on Wednesday, I would have lost? That happens from time to time. But then the next week you might say, oh, Monday trade would lose, Wednesday's going to be a winner. Over the course of hundreds of trades and 20 and 30, 40 trades, it's statistically irrelevant when you place the trade. Trade it whenever you want to. Set aside time when you have it, place the trade. I do them on Monday morning because it kind of fits with my schedule of my sessions that I do with my clients. So I do them Monday. Actually, the last S&P trade I did like this, I placed on Friday afternoon at like 1 o'clock. That was my last trade I did on this one. So no, you could place it anytime you want. It doesn't have to be on Monday at 10. You could do it at 9:30. Do it at 11 o'clock. Do it at 2 o'clock. Whatever you want to. Completely up to your schedule.
All right, we have a lot of great questions. So I love the questions because it shows that you're very interested in what's going on here. This question is from Philly watching on the YouTube stream. Wanted to know about how much capital do you need to have in your account to place these trades?
$5,000 for one contract. That's all you need. So you can trade one contract to the S&P for every $5,000. That's all you need.
All right, and you don't actually have to own the shares of the S&P. You don't have to go out there and buy shares.
Nope.
It's not like a covered call or anything like that. I think that was your other question, Philly. It is strictly just an option trade.
That's correct. So no, you don't have to buy stock, nothing like that. It's all options. In with options, out with options, all that.
All right, and Ron, I did want to add something to what your discussion before on the time. Everybody's going to get a checklist that we just put together this past year, which will walk you through step by step this trade. And it's a spreadsheet that not only helps you track your trades, but if you follow it from left to right, you will place the trade. It walks you through it step by step by step, and you're not going to miss a piece. All right, so that comes with the course. As soon as you register, you have access to all of that, and you can check it out. All right, there was a person earlier who wanted to know, is this day trading or not?
No, it's not day trading. The average trade actually lasts about 3 days. So 3 to 5 days is the average duration of these trades. So definitely not day trading.
All right, cool. And I love the people who are saying I'm in. The first one I just noticed again is Paul, but it's mixed in with all these other questions from people. So great to have you, Paul. Those of you who are in, of course, welcome to the course. We'd love to have you here. Additionally to that, by registering today, as soon as you register, you get access to all the materials. So you don't have to wait for the live sessions. You could go in there and watch all the recordings. You could watch them tonight if you wanted to. And if you wanted to, really, you could place the trade next week without Ron's help. You just don't have the training videos to go by. But you have access to everything. As soon as you register, just get into the VectorVest University and check it out right away. All right, Ron, the next question is, can they do it on the SPY and not just the SPX?
I mean, theoretically, yes, you can, but there's really, no reason to do it on the SPY. You have to trade a lot more contracts. There's stock, there's, the answer is yes, you could, but I really wouldn't recommend it because there's a lot of other factors that go into the SPY, which makes it not a good trade. So I would just trade the SPX.
All right, a couple of people had asked, is a VectorVest subscription required? Is there a lot of the proprietary things in VectorVest used to place this trade, or could they just do it with their broker?
You can just do it with your broker. Nothing needed that's proprietary. Any broker can pull this off. You have everything you need inside the broker.
Now, we do use a piece of VectorVest market timing, but in the coursework, Ron will say, hey, if you don't have VectorVest, here's an alternative. We do like the VectorVest market timing piece that we use better, of course, but Ron will show you an alternative for you to consider. All right, Richard says, do you do the trade on Mondays?
I do most of my trades on Mondays, yes. But like I said, even last week I did one on Friday. I do them on Wednesday occasionally too. But I do most of my trading on Mondays. I kind of trade with my coaching students. So I have everything kind of set up to where I do all of my options trading with them. So I pretty much have it to where I trade Mondays on the S&P.
All right, Dave asked if you could put the slide up that showed the dates and the times of the sessions.
Sure, give me 1 second here. There you go.
All right, there you go, Dave. And there's a question that I could answer from Charles. Says, do you need Options Pro? And you do not need Options Pro to do these. You could do it all with your broker.
Yep.
And Richard wants to know, what about, he's worried about being assigned. I guess he must hear about people doing option trades and they get assigned a stock. Do they have to worry anything about being assigned anything?
Nope, because that's another reason why we trade the SPX. The SPX is what's called a European style option. There's no such thing as early assignment. And there's no assignment anyway. It's all cash settled when it expires. But we're not keeping the options till expiration anyway. But it's impossible for them to be assigned. You can never get assigned on these options.
All right, and Larry, we're not doing 0-day to expiration trades with this. We have different rules for this course, this challenge. Niladri says, will entry and exit prices be provided? Niladri, we'll give you all the rules and specify exactly how the trade should be placed, and so you will know everything on how to do this.
The market gives you entry and exit prices. You just have to know which options to choose, and that's what we'll tell you.
Yep. And it's weird how fairly consistent it is, Ron.
It is.
There's a little bit of fluctuation, but you're like, oh, look, my typical bull put trade gives me this, and a typical bear call gives me this. Of course, there's going to be some fluctuations, but over time, you'll see there's a lot of consistency there.
Yep.
Lynette, as far as platforms go, you could choose whatever broker you want. Ron, you place these trades not only in well, it's now Schwab's Think or Swim, but you also do these trades with Fidelity, but pretty much all brokers would be able to do this for them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
All right. So Larry had said earlier, okay, thanks. So we'll say you're welcome. Scott, I think, Ron, you answered this one earlier. He says, what are the average days upon placing the trade?
3 to 5 days.
Basically, it's a 5-day trade.
Yep, 3 to 5 days.
That's what I noticed. And Doug, you asked what time of day will the training sessions be held, and you could see it right there on the screen. As far as the live training sessions up at the top, let me just double check, unless Ron, you know it off the top of your head.
I thought they were.
But I believe those are. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, those are in the afternoon. Yeah. Yep. Because they're every day, and Ron does have other training during the day for those.
4:30 this day, this day, this day, and this day.
Faisal says, can I use Robinhood?
I could not tell you, honestly. I don't know. I think so, but I honestly don't know if they have options to where you could do it. I know they do options, and double check with them. I would call, because honestly, off the top of my head, I don't know.
Yeah, and you might want to check out maybe a more full service broker as well. Charles wants to know, he lives in Canada. He says, can he place these trades as a Canadian, or is there anything special he needs to know?
Yeah, you can place these. We have a lot of Canadian clients that do it. You know, a lot of Canadians ask me about their, I think it's called an RRSP retirement account. You cannot do these types of trades in that type of an account, but with like a regular trading account, yes. You know, I know that Interactive Brokers is pretty big up in Canada. Quest Trade, as far as I know, I've not heard anything that you couldn't do them.
All right, I see a question from Michael over on the YouTube stream. Says, are we only trading the SPX or stocks? And the answer is the SPX.
Yep, just the SPX.
For this income challenge, just the SPX. It's one thing to focus on. You don't have to worry about all these different stocks. It's just one path to success.
Just for the heck of it, I was looking at Robinhood's website, and they have all the call debit spread, call credit spread. So, I mean, it says you can do them. I think you can. But again, I would call them just to make sure.
All right, Richard says, do you teach how to protect against market moves with this challenge?
Well, I mean, you have a stop loss in place. You're going to have a place to exit the trade. So if the market moves against you, you're going to exit the trade. You know, we don't like hedge or do anything like that. It's just a matter of, I think the market's going to go up. It went down instead. Exit the trade. Well, what if the market moves too much? Then you still exit the trade. You know, over the course of the last 15 years I've been trading the SPX, I've taken losses that were larger than normal. I've taken gains that were much larger than normal when the market's been volatile. It kind of all evens itself out at the end of the day.
All right, excellent questions, everybody. John O says, what's the difference between the pre-recorded and the live sessions during that first week? Well, as far as the content goes, John, it'll be the same content. The benefit is you get Ron live during those live sessions. Plus, Ron, you build in a time at the end to answer questions. So it's like they have a Q&A with the lead instructor during those live sessions. Anything else you wanted to add to that, Ron? Or
no, I think that's it. I mean, they're all the same except for the Q&A. You won't get the Q&A in a recording.
All right, those of you who are asking about the specifics of the trade itself, that's why we have the challenge, and that's what's inside the course. So if you're asking about, you know, what strike prices do I pick, how do I set up the trade, how do I do this, how do I do that, it's all inside of the challenge. So just when you register for the challenge and go through the coursework, it'll all be in there. Okay. Andrea says, how long will I have access to the recordings? You have access to the challenge for a full year. So those of you who took it last year, you might still have access to it for a short amount of time. So you can just go back there and check out the recordings from last year. But we say you get a year's worth of access, so you have plenty of time to go through it. All right. So another quick reminder, just go to vectorvest.com/join-challenge. And you can get yourself registered. This $295 is a webinar special only. The only thing lower than $295 is the price we give to people who have taken our options paycheck course, because our options paycheck course is like $995, and it includes the training of the S&P inside of the paycheck. So we say, all right, if you just want to do this as a refresher on the S&P, pardon me, it's only going to be $95 for you to do it. So we had a ton of people in the chat who have taken the options paycheck. So that's why I'm making a big deal about that. If you have taken the options paycheck before and you want to do this challenge for just $95, at this point, call the phone number on the screen. You can call anytime between now and Monday afternoon, and you can get in at that discounted rate. Or just check your email, because you should have gotten an email from us with a special link with your discount. All right. Other than that, it's $295, which is still a tremendous deal, especially you consider there is a money back guarantee and you can go through the entire challenge. We are very confident in this challenge. Not only what you're going to learn, the way Ron teaches it, that you're going to love it. We're very confident. So it's $295 right now. The price will go up to $495, and then registration closes Monday at 5 p.m. Okay, and then you can't get in after that because Ron has to start teaching the challenge. He has to start going through it live with everybody. So registration closes Monday at 5 o'clock. All right. And Karan says, how long are the recordings? I'd say to actually go through the entire training, it's between 60 and 90 minutes. but we just break it down into little bite-sized chunks for you, Karan. But I'd say if you go through all the training, it's about 60 to 90 minutes, and then you're done. And you could do the homework, take the tests, quizzes, and things like that. You could. That's why I say if you register now, you can get in there tonight and go through all the training if you wanted to. All right. So with that, I don't see any others, Ron. If I missed one of your questions, please just call our phone number and let us know. But I'm going to pass it over to you, Mr. Wheeler, to wrap things up for the day.
All right, excellent. Well, thank you, Brian, and thank all of you for attending this morning or this afternoon, depending where you're joining me from. I'm looking forward to next week. I mean, that's the best part about this, is it's so quick to get started. In a week and a half, you're going to be placing your first trade. And it's such a good, like I said, entryway into placing a lot more of these types of trades on stocks and everything else that we do. But this is such a good base level of knowledge for everybody. So I'm excited to teach this, excited to jump in next week and get it taught too. So hope to see you next week in our income challenge. I want to thank you all once again and bid you best of success and have a great afternoon, everybody. And we'll see you next week live for the income challenge. Thanks again, everyone.